Title: The Silent Apartment. Ethan Brooks had always lived cautiously. A man of routines, habits, and calculated decisions, he had avoided chaos for most of his life. But when he inherited his late uncle's apartment in the heart of the city, he believed he had found a chance for a fresh start, a new life, a new chapter. The apartment was a masterpiece of old-world charm: high ceilings, exposed brick, ornate molding, and wide windows that captured the morning sun in perfect angles. But from the moment he stepped inside, Ethan felt a subtle unease, as if the apartment was alive and observing him. At first, he ignored it. Footsteps in the hallway, old floors settling, doors creaking, drafts from the windows. Shadows? Simply tricks of the light. But as the nights passed, subtle things began to happen that no ordinary explanation could justify. A book would fall from a shelf with no reason. The air would feel colder in certain rooms. Whispers, soft and unintelligible, echoed from empty corners. His own reflection seemed to shift in mirrors, always slightly out of sync. Ethan began keeping logs. Notes, photographs, videos, all meticulously cataloged. But the apartment adapted. It learned his patterns, anticipated his movements, and fed on his growing unease. Fear became a companion he could not escape. He researched the building's history. His uncle had been an eccentric collector. Antique dolls, paintings that seemed to watch viewers, and mysterious artifacts rumored to hold spirits. Legends claimed that he dabbled in the occult, attempting to trap consciousness in objects. Ethan laughed at the idea, until he saw his first moving shadow. The whispers grew louder, taking shape in words. "You shouldn't be here." Objects began moving more aggressively. Books were strewn across the floor. Chairs tipped over. Lights blinked at random intervals. Ethan could no longer distinguish between reality and hallucination. Sleep became impossible. Nights stretched endlessly, punctuated by shadowy figures that appeared at the edge of vision. Ethan attempted rituals, cleansings, even leaving the city, but the presence followed. It learned where he stayed, how he moved, and it began invading his dreams. Ethan's mental state deteriorated. The apartment manipulated him psychologically. He would wake up in rooms he hadn't entered, find objects in impossible places, or hear whispers from the ceiling. Every sound became a potential threat, every shadow a lurking entity. As days turned into weeks, the entity escalated. It was no longer subtle. Figures appeared, humanoid but impossibly thin, faceless or shifting. Whispers became voices, taunting, commanding, teaching Ethan fear in its purest form. One stormy night, the presence revealed itself fully. Tall, impossibly thin, its face an ever-changing blur. Voice like shards of glass. "You've come too far, now you belong to us." Ethan ran through the apartment, doors slamming behind him, floors creaking as if the building itself was alive. He fled to the city streets, rain soaking him to the bone. Yet even outside, the apartment's influence lingered. Reflections in puddles showed figures that weren't there. Shadows seemed to move alongside him. The apartment wasn't just a place, it was a predator. Determined, Ethan returned armed with knowledge, cameras, and recording equipment. He documented every phenomenon. The entity grew smarter, testing him, teaching him, exploiting every weakness. Nights became battles of wit and will. The entity played with him like a cat toys with prey, pushing him to the edge of sanity. Through months of careful observation, Ethan realized the apartment's secret. It fed on fear, but also on connection. Objects, artifacts, and even the very walls seemed to hold fragments of previous victims' consciousness. It was a hive of trapped spirits, learning, evolving, and now it had a new student, Ethan. He attempted communication. Words, notes, drawings. Slowly he pieced together patterns, noticing that the entity's behavior mirrored human thought. It tested him, anticipated his strategies, even showed curiosity. Fear became a weapon he could turn back against it. In a final confrontation, Ethan used light, sound, and misdirection to push the entity into containment. A room rigged with cameras, mirrors, and reflective surfaces became a prison. The tall, shifting figure screamed, shrieked, but it was trapped. For now. Ethan left the apartment. He moved far away, changed his identity, and rebuilt his life. But even now, years later, he feels its presence in reflections, shadows, and quiet rooms. The apartment waits for the next resident, patient, cunning, and hungry. The silent apartment is more than a building. It is alive. It is sentient. It is relentless. And it remembers. Remember to like and subscribe for more horror stories.